Okay, I'm gonna have to do this one-handed. Here's the moment of truth. Let's see who this wallet belongs to. I'll have to blur out their ID. And good morning, everybody. Silas back again today. I have absolutely no clue what's going on today. I'm just gonna tell you right from the get-go, this is gonna be a ride along with Silas type of situation. I don't know what's gonna happen. I guess we'll figure it out as we go. First thing on the list, we did get a bunch of cars from the impound, so I guess I'll go through those and see if there's anything cool. First up on the list, old square body of some sort. Looks pretty rusty. Rusted out pretty bad, so it's probably just a crusher. It does have a set of wide rallies on the front. Those used to be worth some pretty good money, but the last several sets of them, I've really had to fight to get $100 out of the whole set. And it looks like there's only two on this one, and only one of them has a beauty ring, so honestly, they're probably not worth the effort to pull them off. See if there's anything inside it. Not really. It does have a tilt column, but it's kind of wobbly, so probably just leave that in there. So yep, this in here is probably going to be a crusher. We'll see, but more than likely that's what's going to happen to it. I know everybody's always saying you should sell parts, and so I thought, okay, I'll make everybody happy. I'll list some stuff for sale, and I listed a bunch of vehicles and other things, parting them out, vintage stuff, not the newer stuff, mainly vintage stuff. And I thought, okay, I'll make everybody happy. We'll do this. And it has been a non-stop nightmare all weekend long. One guy just messaged me a minute ago. He wanted the alternator and the bracket off of an old Ford, and I said I'd take $30 for the alternator and the bracket. He messaged back and he says, you're absolutely crazy. I can buy that bracket brand new for $22 delivered to my door, and I don't know if that alternator is any good or not. And so he's like, I'd give you $5 for the pair. And I'm like, do people even think about what they're saying? I don't think they do sometimes, because it would cost me like $10 in diesel to drive out there just to show it to him. For him to give me $5, I mean, it doesn't really compute. Even $30 was really too cheap. It's not worth my time. And that happened all weekend long. Just tons of people wanting stuff just dirt cheap. They were offering little or nothing for it. So I went through now and I deleted all my listings, and we're just going to go back to crushing. We'll dig through these cars here. I know a lot of people don't like eBay, but that's one reason why I do like eBay, is you just put the price on it, and if they don't like it, tough luck. I mean, every now and then you'll have people message you and say that you're crazy and that you should take a lot less, but for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. I'll check that out. A whole bunch of money. Wonder how much is in there. Mostly pennies, it looks like, but we'll get all that out and count it. There was a few dimes in there, so there's about $1.25 here, give or take a few pennies. So not too bad. Mixed in with it, I also found this old Canadian penny from 1956. So that's kind of unusual. Don't see those too often around here, especially ones that old. And then on top of that, I found this in the back seat. A brand new thing of chalk, big chalk. So my kids will absolutely love that. I'll take that home for them. I dug through this car here. I didn't find anything good in there. It's clear full of nasty food. There's a couple pennies down in the mix of it, but I'm not going to dig in it. It's just absolutely nasty. I didn't see anything real cool, so we're just going to let that one sit. I'm going to go back here and dig in this, whatever this is back here. Yeah, this is a definite no-go. It smells like absolute nasty, rotted death in here. It's just horrible, and this thing is filthy. So we are not going to look in this one. I'm not even going to do it. I don't care what's in there. I don't understand how people drive their car around like this. This is just nasty. I'm pretty excited for this old bus. That's probably my favorite one of everything that came in. It's got some cool hubcaps on it that I can sell. We'll go around to the other side and we'll check it out. It's got two hubcaps on it. Let's see what's on the other side. And three. Oh, and this one doesn't match, but still it's a set of three. And then this one here's a little bit older of a hubcap. So that's pretty cool. But this bus, it looks like somebody used it for a camper. That door doesn't open. I think the back door opens though. There we go, we got in here. Yeah, somebody must have used this for a camper. They've got some sort of padding down on the floor, which I'll just rip all that out. This will make really good storage, which is really cool, because as you guys know, all the buildings up front, at the front of this property where I have all my stuff stored up there, all the roofs are blowing off of them and leaking like crazy, and I am desperate for storage. So this will work out great for that. I can come in here, and I probably won't even bother putting shelves in this. I'll probably just put my big heavy stuff in here that it doesn't matter if the sun's on it, just enough to keep it out of the weather at least. Now I know what you're thinking, Silas, you were just complaining about selling stuff. Why in the world are you wanting to keep more stuff and put it in there rather than just crush it or sell it dirt cheap or take it to an auction or whatever? Which I am going to do that with a lot of that stuff up there. Just going to liquidate it and be done with it. But I do have a lot of pretty valuable items, and it just doesn't feel right selling $200 items for $5 and still having to beg somebody to buy it. And so I really don't want to do that too much. I'm just going to go ahead and take my time, and those higher dollar items, I will sell them myself. The difference being is that stuff I will list on eBay or other online places, and I'll put the set price on it, and that's the price. If they don't like it, they leave it. Whereas with Marketplace, it's kind of more of a local crowd. And when you're dealing with the local crowd around here, I'm trying to think of how to say this without sounding rude or disrespectful, but the local crowd around here does not like to spend a lot of money. There's a reason why every single salvage yard in this town and in this area has gone out of business. When I was a kid, there were tons, and I mean tons, of salvage yards around here. And this is a pretty small town, only about 40,000 people, but there was still a bunch of salvage yards. But just over the last 20-25 years, it's really shifted. Something's really shifted, and now people just do not like to spend money on stuff around here. So that's where it comes in handy, being able to list stuff online, and I can sell it elsewhere. Back when I was doing eBay full time, I was selling thousands of items, and out of 1,000 items, I might sell 1 or 2 items in the state of Kansas, which is really cool because I only have to do the sales tax on things if it sells in Kansas. If it sells out of Kansas, eBay handles sales tax, or Facebook handles sales tax, that sort of stuff. So that was always really cool because at the end of the year, I only had to report 1 or 2 items. Now I have to report everything for income tax, but I'm just talking about sales tax. So I said all that to say this here will be absolutely perfect for storing things like bell housings, carburetors, magnetos, things like that, just to keep the water off of them, because that's what ruins that sort of stuff. Sunlight and heat won't ruin that stuff. Now I have other things that really need to be kept someplace where the sunlight isn't on them, and that's what I'll use my U-Haul trucks and my enclosed vans, things like that for. But then the other heavy stuff I can just put in here and stack it up, it won't matter. On to the next car. Let's see what's in here. We got a lottery ticket in the door. I saw this when I opened the door a minute ago. It is good. This is a $1 winner. I think, yeah, $1. Got the lightning bolts on it, so that's pretty cool. I've been finding a lot of those lately that are good. And it looks like there's a little bit of money in here. What is that? Looks like about 25 cents, 26 cents. That's pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of money that's laying on the seat. 2 quarters and a bunch of pennies. Just waiting there. It was just sitting there waiting on me. See if there's anything else in here. I'll kind of dig around in here, see if I can find anything. If I do, I'll let you guys know. We got breakfast. I'm just kidding. I would never eat something I found in the car. This center little tray thing up here is clear full of money. It looks like quarters and pennies. I see a dime or 2 in there, maybe a nickel. So we'll dig through that, see what we can find. All together, it looks like we got about $1.60 out of this car. So not too bad, I guess. Well, that's not counting that up there. So I guess $2.60. I didn't find anything else in that car. Ripped up the seat, nothing under there. Went through this car here, nothing in that. So I think that's about it. I haven't checked the trunks on these yet. There's no keys in most of these, so I'm gonna have to wait till I get the loader out and rip the trunks open, see if there's anything in there. Got this old diesel cab in, and I noticed they left the ECM on this. This is a 98 model, so that means the engine is controlled off the ECM, the pump was and all that was. So that's a pretty valuable piece right there. Or they used to be anyway. I haven't sold one for a while. I haven't had one for a while. But I know back in the day, those used to bring good money. So I want to check that out real quick. I looked it up on eBay, and I learned a couple things about this. Number one is that ECM there is for a 1995 model. The truck says 1998 on the side over here, and the VIN number comes back as 98 model and everything like that. Well, I got to look, and that sticker, somebody has peeled the original sticker off and put a new sticker on it. So I'm guessing what's happened with this at some point in time is that somebody's done something really, really fishy. Now, we got it through the impound, so I guess it's perfectly legal for us to have it. But at some point in time, somebody did something pretty sketchy with this thing and swapped it around. But anyway, looking up this ECM here, this is for a 95 12 valve, and it's worth about $500, give or take, as used. Now, with a warranty and everything, they're bringing about $650, $700, but just as is, where it is, they're bringing about $450 to $500. So I think I'll throw that online. I think it's got 1, 2, 3 bolts holding it on there. This vehicle here, because it's part of the junkyard, does belong to my dad, so I'll have to split whatever I get out of that. I won't get to keep the whole amount. But still, I mean, he got that cab for just scrap price, and actually I don't know that we even paid much for that cab. So he got that cab for little or nothing. That's a $500 piece. If we split it 50-50 after eBay fees, that's still going to be over $200 for each of us, so not too bad at all. I am absolutely looking forward to going to Costa Rica. The high next week, this is my last week working here at the yard, and by the time you see this, I'll actually be back from Costa Rica. But next week, the high here is supposed to be in the 105 to 110 range. It is supposed to be extreme heat. They're calling for all sorts of heat warnings and all this and that, and no moisture at all in the forecast. The high in Costa Rica, where we're going, is about 75 to 80 degrees. It's going to be absolutely beautiful because this is their quote-unquote cool season. To them, they think this time of year is kind of cold. It's going to be absolutely beautiful for us. But for now, I'm still stuck here. I've got to run the yard, so I'm going to fire up the loader, and I'm going to probably start crushing some cars. This is the proper way to pull an engine. There we go, I got it out of there. The reason why I pulled the engine on this car is these Tauruses have a converter up against the firewall and passenger side fender well that is nigh impossible to get off without pulling the engine. So I just ripped the engine out, pull the converter off, shove the engine back in the car because unfortunately these have a cast iron block and I can't throw them in the breakage. With a lot of cars that I do this on, I can go ahead and save the rest of the engine for aluminum, but not on these, so I threw the engine back in the car, got all three of the converters off, and now it's ready to crush. Now before you rip out an engine like that, you have to drain the fluids first, because if you don't drain the fluids, you will make a gigantic mess all over the ground. You still make a little bit of a mess, but it's enough to where you can just scoop it up with a shovel. It's not a big deal. Things like power steering, stuff like that. But you have to drain the bulk of the fluids before you rip the engine out. So altogether, I've got about 30 minutes in this one so far. Wow, I just looked these up online, and normally Taurus cats are kind of mediocre. Sometimes these are decent. This one's usually pretty cheap, but I was actually kind of shocked. All of these are high dollar ones. These are about 260 bucks a piece, and this one's about $300. So that's a pretty good payday on that car. Normally the big one's like 100 bucks, if that even. Sometimes they're only like 70 bucks with the prices the way they are right now. And the small ones are usually around 140, 150 bucks a piece. So that's almost double what they usually are. Actually, that is double if you count all three of them. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that's not my money. That's the business's money. I just work here. I'm just an employee. I think sometimes there's some confusion with that. I don't own this place. I don't own that crusher. I don't own the loader. I don't own anything other than the camera that I'm filming with right now. And then I own that 20 acres that some of the old cars are at outside of town. But other than that, none of this is mine. Sometimes I think people think that I own all this, but no, my dad owns all this. I'm just an employee. So I just wanted to clear that up real quick. A lot of times people think that I must just be absolutely rolling in the dough, but they don't understand that this is all the business's money, and the business is very expensive to maintain. I'm just on salary, and that's that. Today must be backwards day because that Taurus earlier had those high dollar converters and they're normally cheap. Well, normally these Chrysler minivans have good converters, and this is the year that has the really hard to get converters. The front one pops right off. The back one, you got to work to get it off the back side of the engine. It doesn't fit out very well, and these engines are a little bit harder to pull. And these came out to like 135 bucks a piece. So I did way more work for way less money, but that's okay. It all evens out in the end. And my dad just called, and I guess there's a truck going to be here in just a minute. He had a load over Wichita. It got canceled. So now he's wanting to load here. That happens a lot. They get paid the same whether they haul out of Wichita or here, but we're almost an hour further this direction to the west than what Wichita is, and they don't get paid any extra. So it's an extra almost 2 hours of drive time for the trucks. So they don't usually like to come here. So that's why we usually only get 2, 3, maybe 4 trucks a week is the most we'll get. But we'll take it. We need the room. So I got to set the load out, and I've got to get it wrapped. So I've got to hustle, and it's about 1,000,000 degrees out there. So it's going to be a hot one, but it's okay. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay, we are ready. Now our broker said this guy hauls cars all the time. This is a new company we haven't loaded before. And we said, okay, great. And first thing the driver says when he gets here is, I've never loaded cars before. So luckily my dad's here, so we can tag team it and get him loaded and get him out of here pretty quick. It's way too hot for me to put the camera outside and do a time lapse. My camera will shut off in about 30 to 45 seconds. So I guess what I'll do this time is kind of explain what's going on as I load him. I didn't realize he had a 53-foot trailer, so I had to scoot that second bundle back quite a bit or else we'd overload his drive axles. I haven't seen a 53-footer in quite a long time. But what we do is we put the chains over them like that, and then we just barely hook them on the other side. That way we can kind of roll them from this side, and it just falls down on the other side. Then we can hook it over there. We'll hook the strap in this side and pull it over and make it to where the strap is what tightens it down on this side, because he doesn't have very long chains. You can kind of see here how the straps go up there, but they don't actually touch any of the cars. It's legal to use straps. They just can't touch the cars anywhere. And those chains there, we still have to pull over and get that done. If I get to focus, my windshield's filthy, I know. I'm glad he has plenty of straps and chains though, because all of his ratchet tie downs up here are all rusted solid. Not a single one of them works. Well, I take that back, one of them still works. And then he's got 2 snap downs that work. So hopefully we can make do with that. It's coming along nicely. Got the front stack all chained down, strapped down. Working on these back here now. This load's ready to go. Headed out. Got one more truck tomorrow, and I think one more the next day, so we'll probably load those at the other yard. Hopefully it's a little bit cooler tomorrow. That guy tore this asphalt up when he pulled out of here. Look at that. Left ruts in the asphalt. But he's on his way out. He didn't listen to me. I told him to go up to the stoplight so he didn't have to pull out in front of traffic at a stop sign, but that's okay. He'll figure it out. My dad's gonna drive in there and unload a car real quick, but I've got to head out I've got a guy coming possibly to buy that tractor that was in my last video. Maybe it's sold and I don't have to scrap it out. Well, it is sold. He's supposed to come back tomorrow with his trailer and pick it up. He paid for it now, so it is sold. So those of you that accuse me of being crazy and crushing everything, I just proved you wrong once again. I saved some stuff. I had a guy message me earlier and he called me all sorts of things because I didn't sell stuff for scrap price. And I said, well, is my time worth anything of having to meet people and pull the parts and do all this and that? And he says, no, your time ain't worth nothing. You should sell it for scrap price and be happy. So some people don't value my time much, but that's okay. I still value my time, and evidently the guy that bought this values my time too, because he paid over scrap price for it. But I'm definitely glad to see it go to a good home. You just don't see the Fergusons quite as often as you do the Fords. I think that's only my second Ferguson I've had in the last couple of years, and I've had tons of Fords in that time as well. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and head out for the day. I will see you guys in the morning. If I wasn't getting ready to leave for Costa Rica, I would stay out here. It is absolutely beautiful out right now. I mean, it is just so nice. A little bit windy, but it's just so nice outside. And I'd go back in the cars or in the trees and have fun. But unfortunately, I need to edit a ton of video, because if I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks or a week and a half, counting fly time and everything, about 2 weeks, I've got to have plenty of videos already edited and uploaded and ready and scheduled and the whole 9 yards. That way there's no break in posting. But with that, I will see you guys in the morning and we'll see what we can get into tomorrow. I'm home now, but check out this beautiful thunderstorm that's rolling through just to the south of us. It's not raining here. We've got a few sprinkles, but most of the rain's going off to the south. I don't know if you can hear that thunder or not. It's quite a ways away. But absolutely beautiful. And good morning, back again today. It looks like the rain missed us. We got just a light sprinkle here, it looks like, but beyond that, we didn't get anything. I'm gonna work here at the yard for a little bit, but I do have to leave and go help my dad wrap that other load at the other yard, at the one he runs. And I got a truck coming. I think the truck's gonna be here around noon. And then after we get that truck loaded, he's gonna go ahead and set out another load and we'll help wrap that load, because it's so nice out today. It's just absolutely beautiful. My dad just dropped this old Taurus off, and I just kind of glanced inside it and I saw a bunch of money inside the cup holder here, so I thought I'd get out the camera and we'd kind of look through it. It looks like we got some nickels and pennies and dimes in there. There's a few pennies up there, so I'll get all that out and see what we got. I found 54 cents in there, and then I found something else pretty cool. I found another Canadian penny. This in here isn't very old though. This is just a 2001, so nothing super cool and crazy there, but just kind of unusual once again. And then also I found a 1936 penny, an old wheat penny, and that is kind of unusual. You don't find them that old very often. Usually the wheat pennies I find are usually like late 40s, early 50s, in that range. What of the year do they stop wheat pennies? 58 was the last year wheat penny, I believe. 59 was the first year of the memorial on the back instead of the 1 cent. Definitely a cool piece there. I'll go ahead and save both of those, put those in my junkyard treasure collection. The trunk is pretty well empty. Didn't find anything under the back seat. Don't think there's anything in the doors. I didn't check the passenger door yet. No, nothing in there. Check the glove box. Completely empty. Let's see here. What am I forgetting? Check the visors. Nothing there. Nothing there. I went through the owner's manual. I know a lot of you said that I always check those, that sometimes people put money in them. I've actually never found money in an owner's manual, but I guess I don't always check them, so maybe I should start checking them more often. But didn't have any luck with this one. I think all I have left to check is under the seats and in the center console. We'll check the center console first, then we'll climb under the seats. See what's in here. No way. Is that a wallet? That's a wallet. I haven't opened it yet, but I can see something in there. Definitely looks like cash. So this is what we're gonna do. I don't know how much is in here. I have not opened this. I got it out and I wanted to open it on camera, so I just kind of glanced at it and I can see, looks like cash in there. I'm pretty sure that's cash. I can't see the denomination on the bills though, so how much do you think's in here? Put your guess in the comments below, whether you think there's, maybe it's just a couple ones, maybe it's a couple hundreds, I don't know. It looks like there's about maybe 3 bills in there, so it could be $3 or it could be $300, so anywhere in between there. Let me know in the comments below what you think it is. We're gonna open it up together on camera. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this one-handed. Here's the moment of truth. Let's see who this wallet belongs to. I'll have to blur out their ID. Oh, there's no ID. That's kind of interesting. There's no cards at all in there. Huh. Okay, now the moment of truth as to how much money is in here. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. Oh, it's just ones. Just ones. What do we got here, though? There's more than I thought there was. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4, 5. Oh, a couple fives. So we got what? $15? Is that right? 5, 10. Doing this one-handed is kind of a challenge. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, $15. Not bad at all. Is there any other money tucked in here? No? Huh. That's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely kind of odd that there was cash in that wallet, but no ID and no cards or anything like that. But of course, it's not really that odd. I know when I'm traveling, I carry my money in one place and I carry my ID and my debit card in another place. The reason why I do that is I do conceal carry, but that's just for personal protection. If somebody ever was to come up to me, and God forbid it ever did happen, but if somebody was to rob me, I'm gonna hand them my money. I usually only carry 20, 40, 50, 60 bucks at the most, and I don't feel like it's worth harming somebody over $60 unless they're threatening me and my family. And so that's why I carry my cash and my ID separate. That way if somebody wants my cash, they can just have it, but yeah, I don't have to go through the whole hassle of getting a new ID. So I guess really it's not that unusual. Maybe they're kind of the same way. Maybe that was just their emergency stash and so they just threw it in the center console. I really don't know. It's only $15, not a lot of money, but hey, that'll buy a pretty good lunch. Now if my dad watches this video, he's gonna be like, hey, wait a second, that was my car, that's my money. But finders keepers. Before I forget though, I did see a few pennies. Oh, there's a couple dimes in here too. So yeah, we got, looks like 2 pennies and 3 dimes. I checked under the seats and there's nothing under there. A couple half-burned cigarettes and that's about it. They're pretty lucky they didn't burn the car down. I've seen cigarettes catch seats on fire before, but evidently these just went out when they dropped them. One thing I just realized is I forgot to take a picture of that wallet. So I'm gonna have to put the wallet back in the center console so I can make a thumbnail. I do that a lot. I'll find stuff or I'll see something really cool and I'm just so excited. I just pull out the camera and record it and I grab it out of there real quick. And then I realize afterwards that I never took a picture of it, and if that's what I want to make the thumbnail of, I've got to restage the photo like it was when I found it. So finding the stuff is real. Sometimes the thumbnails are fake. I guess they're fake. I mean, they're a real representation of what happened before, but I mean, I guess depends on how you want to look at it. It's not something you understand until you really start doing YouTube, that the thumbnail and the title sometimes is more important than what's in the video. If you don't give it a good thumbnail and you don't give it a good title, the algorithm will never catch it and nobody will ever see it. I did spice it up a little bit. I kind of pulled some of the cash sticking out just a little bit. That'll make a really cool thumbnail right there. But no, for real, you just never know what you're going to find in these cars. What did we find? Yesterday we found that 1956, I think it was, Canadian penny. That was pretty cool, plus all that other money. Wasn't a whole lot of money there, but still I think it was a $2 or $3, something like that. And then today we found the 1936 penny, the 2001 Canadian penny, and then a wallet with $15 cash, plus about $1 in other just miscellaneous change. But I've got to go to the other yard now and help my dad load that truck. I'll probably go ahead and put a time lapse on loading the truck, and I'll put that at the end of this video. Once again, if you like watching that and you like listening to the music, that'll be after this. But with that, I am going to go ahead and close this video out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Keep checking back. I got other things planned as soon as it cools down, as soon as we get through this heat wave. I got a few other things I want to do. As always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and remember to get out there and find an adventure. We'll see you next time.